Hello all you beautiful people, and welcome back to the channel. I'm sure you've already guessed what this one's about. The Begode Mten4. So this is just a quick overview on the wheel, my thoughts of the wheel, a little bit of comparisons, and just kind of a walk around to show you what the wheel comes with and, just its functionality. Its cool little features. At the end of this video, I will be talking over some footage I took down at Tumwater Falls and downtown Olympia. I actually spent quite some time on that wheel there, and it is an absolute blast. So, for starters, I've never owned an Mten4. I have ridden an Mten4 one time at EVs, and I was very surprised how capable that wheel is. Whether you're new to the channel or not, I am 220 pounds, and you see something this small and light and you just don't picture it, being able to haul you around easily. However, I could guarantee you this will haul you up a hill, no problem. It will get you cruising around at 20 miles an hour, no problem. It is an absolute blast. So as you can see here, I do have my hands on two of them. I was lucky to get them a little early. I believe Alien Rides may have got theirs today. EVs may have theirs. So you guys should be seeing them pretty soon. One of the first things I want to note is kind of these cool cast pedals that they come with. They do have kind of little spikes on the pedals, and I think it's kind of lame the T4 didn't come with any kind of spike pedal. However, with a wheel this small, I definitely don't want my feet easily sliding off when I'm that low to the ground going, say, 15 or 20 miles an hour. So I do appreciate that these wheels come with these little spike pedals. Another thing to note is if you look right here, it actually has two grub screws so you could adjust the pedal angle. That does not exist on the T4 either. This has very, very flat riding pedals. If you look at it from this standpoint, you could see that is almost parallel to the ground. So I am a big fan of flat pedals, and I really appreciate that these are basically flat. There is a plate here, removable like other Begode pedals, and if you remove that, that pedal will go a little bit more flat, probably parallel to the ground. However, if you like that pitch to your pedals, you can adjust it, which is kind of cool. Another thing to note real quick, it is a tubeless tire, and it took me a while to find that little air valve. Out of the box, both of these came with, I think, about 40 PSI in the tire, and I filled them a little higher than that. I'm still testing it out. This is a very chunky, knobby tire, and it's very, very interesting to ride on it the first few times, and it slows speeds. If you've ever ridden a dirt bike or a quad with sand tires or paddle tires on it, you're going to know what I'm talking about riding this wheel. It's a little strange. When you get up to speed, you don't really notice it. At slow speeds, it feels like you're running over a bunch of mini speed bumps. Very, very interesting. Really cool though. I like that they actually put this tire on it because I'm going to be taking these wheels all over the freaking place. I'm going to be putting them through the ringer. So another quick note with the body here, you could see the metal flares out in many different sections here, and that is probably due to strength. When you have that 90-degree bend in the metal like that, it's going to give it a lot bit more rigidity than just a flat panel like this here. It could obviously bend up easily, but if you had a 90-degree angle cuts here down, it would be a lot harder to bend that panel. So since it is small and it's not very heavy, they probably did that for structural reasons. And if you look at this one, you could actually see that those metal flares actually go inside the stock foam. So it holds the stock foam in place very well. and it does cover most of the unicycle. So I'm sure you've already seen that I have some 3D printed parts for these, and I will get into those in a little bit. These side pads here, absolutely horrible. I mean, I've never rode a wheel this small regularly, but I mean, it's like, it feels squishy, but this harsh corner here really digs into your ankles. Just for anybody that's getting these wheels, go get yourself some baby bumper foam because you're gonna need it for these. I am working on full replacement side pads slash panels for these. Because it takes up so much of a majority of it, it'll kind of give your wheel a whole new color and better comfort. So I'll have those done hopefully in about a week or so, but that's one of the things I'm currently working on. The headlight on this bad boy, there's two little LEDs in there. I don't know the wattage on them. Not sure if you guys could see that or not, but they are bright. They're like as good as the T4, if not better. And you can see the little connection point here. This headlight is actually adjustable. Get that out of the way. So I found that to be really cool as well, that you're able to adjust the headlight up and down quite a bit actually. And it's, this whole front panel here is metal. So this headlight is fairly well protected between the foam, the tire, this upper panel. However, as you can see here, first time out of the box, my coworker decided to step on it without it being on and face planted into the concrete and mar it all up. Hence, the ring of destiny here to keep your beautiful little wheel pristine. If you could see inside of here, poor lighting in this room, I apologize everybody. This whole top panel is actually plastic and see-through. Really cool. They did it kind of like the Kingsung S22. However, in my opinion, this is much cooler. There's not a seat covering what was cool and is still now cool. The handle here, I have not taken off this top cover, so I do not know how waterproof it is. Don't ask me yet, I do not know. This handle is very sturdy. I've picked up the wheel obviously countless times with it, and it has no problems. As you can see, it doesn't really stretch out or anything, and these metal bands, I believe, go all the way through the handle to the other side. So that is cool. A lot of people, including myself, were kind of bummed it didn't come with a trolley handle. However, when you've got a wheel this tall, I mean, the thing's, what, 15 inches, 16 inches tall, you're going to have like a 4-foot trolley handle for people to be comfortable trolleying it around. Everybody hates short trolley handles. My personal opinion, with a wheel this small and handle that length, I mean, one, it would be ridiculous, and two, it would probably very easily broken. So yes, it kind of sucks it doesn't have a trolley handle. However, you know, Begode could make it an optional add-on, but I'm completely fine without having it because I think it'd be too tall and too fragile. Something to note, there's only one charge port, and then that is the button to turn it on and off, and there is obviously no kill switch or kill switch button, which again, a little frustrating in my opinion. However, when you turn the wheel on, it is in transport mode, so you just push this button 5 times and then turn it off and turn it back on, and your wheel is good to go. Because there is no secondary source or button, there's not a hold and press buttons, you know, chicken dance you have to do. You just use that one button. However, there is no kill switch. There is no pickup handle button. So if you want to trolley these guys like this, or sorry, park them, everybody thinks you have to turn off the wheel, which I was there too at the beginning, but you don't. If you actually tilt the wheel over far enough past its tilt-off angle, it'll kill the motor. It'll beep a couple of times, the motor will be killed, and then you could rock it back up onto the kickstand, which is nice. However, if you go to pick it up, as soon as you have it back upright like this for more than like a second, the motor will re-engage. So there is no way to pick these up at the moment and carry them around while they are on. A little bummed about that because when I ride around, I like to stay connected to my wheel, see how far I've gone, you know, my speeds and all that. So putting it in the kickstand is the best you could do right now. There's no picking it up and sitting it on the seat next to you unless you want it to go flying off. So to note, back to the plastic top here, as you can see, I have these guards. These are just stuck on there. I made them nice and thin so they'll fit underneath the stock pads. If you look from this angle, especially back here, these stock pads do not actually come all the way up to the corner edge of this panel. And again, that same coworker that marred the front of it up also sent this thing flying through the parking lot, and the side of the upper plastic here got all beat up because there's no pad protection up there. Since this is plastic and curves over that edge, I am very afraid that it will be easily broken. So, you know, this isn't it's going to prevent your wheel from getting broken. However, it's going to prevent it from getting marred up, which, you know, right out of the box is kind of crazy. The foam doesn't come up that extra ½ inch up here and ¼ inch down there, but is what it is. The taillight is pretty snazzy. I do like it. It's big, it's bright, it's very noticeable. It has metal on the bottom down there, metal on the side right here. However, the top of it, where this little guy here is, there's no protection. So seeing how the top of the wheel up there got all marred up, I wanted to create something to protect the back of it, and that is this little guy. Just 3Ms on there. It will cover this upper panel, kind of stick on more so it doesn't pop off easy, but it does protect that taillight by protruding out with this metal here. And then it also works as an additional kickstand to be a little bit more stable when it's on just this one. It's a little more top heavy. When it's further back, just like the one I make for the T4 and the Master, it just makes it a little bit more stable. So it's just an overall of the wheel, you know, it's an absolute blast to ride around, even somebody my weight. It is built like a little baby tank. Yes, you know, like all wheels, there's a little bit of protection things here and there that they're missing, but, you know, it came with a kickstand. The T4 didn't come with a kickstand. It has a really cool kind of spiked custom new look pedal. The T4 doesn't come with that. It has a really cool knobby tire I've never seen before. T4 doesn't come with that. So kind of lame that they skipped a bunch of things on the T4, but you know, for the price point on this wheel, it's kind of amazing what it comes with and how capable it is. You could even see it doesn't even need a mud guard because the whole panel on the bottom is all metal across the entire thing. So there's nothing going to get up inside there like some of their other wheels. So you can just wipe it right out. You know, all in all, having these things, I do not regret buying them. I would recommend them to anybody. Having, like, if you live in the city, not saying to commute in the streets like people do, but like for what I do, where I'll park at the park and ride into town and go hop around to tap rooms or whatever, these are perfect. You know, I have to trolley the other wheels around with me. They're kind of big. They stand out. You know, some places kind of eye you weird when you bring them in, and these are pocket sized. I brought these in like 4 different places last Friday night, and you know, I did ride into one of them, which I thought was funny, and they didn't care. You could pick it up and stick it on the seat next to me. I don't have to worry about it walking off. I go to the bathroom. Like, it's just a cool little wheel, and I would definitely suggest you guys get one. So right after this, you're going to see kind of a cool walk around on it and me riding the wheel around downtown. And we're back. This is Lower Tumwater Falls. I was just doing a quick overview video of, you know, the damage right there to the front headlight and that side panel, and how you can kind of see that the stock pads don't cover it. And this is just the headlight shroud, super easy to put on, works very well, actually doubles as a kickstand. You can see on this side here, that is the guard installed. It does slip right underneath the stock foam, and then that's the little tail light guard that also doubles as a kickstand. So some nice little inexpensive parts. They are on my Etsy for anyone who's picking up an M10.4. I will drop the Etsy link below. It will come in, or the parts will come in, variety of different colors. I got a cool pumpkin orange, a really bright translucent orange, this blue that almost matches the pads, some reds and other colors, so you kind of customize this little guy to your liking. It is a very, very cool looking little wheel. I mean, personally, I do like it a lot more than the M10.3 as far as the looks go. I do want to make yellow side panels for it and call it the Minion, just because it's got two names going for it right now. You either got the Minion or you got Mike from Monsters Inc. As you can see, I'm riding this thing around even at 220 pounds. It has no problems. They kind of set up a salmon hatchery here at the falls. It's pretty cool. It is a small little wheel. I mean, that thing only comes halfway up my shins, so mind you guys, it is tiny. Over this boardwalk, it was an absolute horrible ride. I mean, for how small it is, if you were to air down the tire, it might take some of the impacts between those boards, but gosh, I would rather ride any other wheel than this thing over those. Or if you went fast enough, it probably would be a little bit smoother. But that knobby tire and those boards were not a fun ride together. This is downtown Olympia, so I'm sure you guys have seen some of my older videos, maybe a few of other videos and reviews. I, live out in Yelm, but work down in Tumwater, Olympia area, so I tend to park my car at one of the parks, and then I ride downtown like this, and we'll stop at tap rooms or go get food or, just kind of enjoy the downtown life. To me, this wheel is perfect for situations like this. It's not heavy to pack around. It's not cumbersome. It doesn't draw quite as much attention, even though it's small and kind of like, what the heck is that? But it works. It'll get you up to speeds if you need to do the 20, 25 in the street, which, again, it's small. The knobby tire's a bit strange. I wouldn't really ride this in the street, but I did. There's some areas in downtown Olympia that are not crazy busy, not many cars travel on them. But for sidewalks and trails and where people walk in the waterfront, it also is a really good wheel because, it's not intimidating. You're not riding some giant thing that looks real fast and scary where people are walking. When I have ridden other wheels on this, I've gotten looks from people. I've had a few people try to stop me and say, I can't be riding here. There's a bike lane for a reason. I rode this around and, the compliments, the looks, and a few people just stopping to ask, what it is. So it's kind of cool to see the different interactions from people with the different wheels and different environments. But for stuff like this wheel just seems more practical, and you can just pick it up and carry it around. It gets you A to B a lot faster than walking, and it is about the most compact thing you could get. It has more power than a one wheel, probably more range than a one wheel, bigger tire. It's cool. I love it so far. That light does work really well, and it is a very smooth ride. It's very quiet, other than when you're going on the boardwalk, or very slow because of those knobs. And it's very, very smooth. It's very torquey. For learning purposes, because of its size, every person I've had step on this is like, whoa. In my opinion, if you could ride one of these, you could ride any wheel after this. Because of how small, torquey, and jerky it is when you first get on it, it makes it very complicated and hard to figure it out, especially with your center of gravity being so high over the wheel. Again, you're going to have hit and miss on what people recommend, and there's going to be arguments that this would be a better wheel. I bought these as training wheels, but after myself and 4 or 5 others hopping on this thing, it's much easier to get on something like a T4 or an S18, especially if the S18 suspension is locked, and kind of cruise than it is a little wheel like this. However, for, if I lived downtown, I would much rather have 2 of these at home charging, riding them around, than a wheel that weighs 60 pounds and goes 40 miles an hour. You can see here, I'm in the street, so I will ride it in the street. I don't prefer riding in the street, but this isn't a busy street, so I was like, I'll cruise through. I did get the wheel up to about, I think, 15 miles an hour. I haven't ridden much past that. I'd rather adjust the tire pressure before I start doing some speed tests on this. I will be doing a range test on it, so stay tuned for a range test. Here's a little local market. Locust Cider is actually down in there. It's one of the few places I stop. They've got really good handmade pizza there, and cider's on tap. And this is just me continuing to cruise around downtown at the waterfront. You could see how easy you could turn on a dime here, and that is one of the things I absolutely appreciate about this little beast, is on a sidewalk, like, 1.5 people wide, you could easily whip this thing around and go the other direction. When I rode with some one-wheelers, they could do stuff like that. They'd kind of kick the board and just flip the wheel 180 and go. And I was like, I couldn't do that on an 18, 20-inch wheel. It just doesn't have the turn radius. You fall over. Something that's this small, it makes it so nimble and fun and easy to kind of maneuver around. I absolutely enjoy it. That's why I was saying earlier I would recommend it to anybody. It's a really inexpensive wheel for what it is. You can see how harsh these bumps are here. Horrible. I was like, I'm going to the pavement and avoiding these people. But, all in all, for a little cruiser, taking it places like the beach or whatever, I would say this wheel is awesome. Definitely recommend it. I hope you guys appreciate the video. Please consider subscribing. I do work very hard making these for you, and I do try to get 2 out a week. And I hope you guys get one and enjoy it. Have a beautiful day, you beautiful people. And stay tuned for the range test.